Hey, what's up guys? I'm here in the Dolomites where today I'm going to put my first ride on the privateer E-161. Let's learn all about it and see how it rides in this first ride review on the loamwolf.com. Let's go.
Hi, I'm Andy Sykes. I am the brand and marketing manager for Hunt mountain bike and privateer bikes. I have the new privateer E-161. This is our first e-bike that we've ever launched. It was released earlier this year, and basically it's a electrified version of our 161 enduro bike. So what we've done is we've taken everything that we loved about the 161, the handling, the suspension, the way it descends, and we've put it into an e-bike package. To do that, what we've done is, so the original prototype was actually a 29er, so we went for a 29 front and rear wheel, and we tested that bike, and it was amazing. The issue was it didn't handle like the 161. It didn't fit our design brief. So what we've done is we've put a mullet wheel in the back, and that's enabled us to have a slightly shorter back end, but also keep those size-specific chainstays. So as the front center grows, the rear grows too. So we have four sizes. We have P1, P2, P3, P4. And on the P1 and the P2, we have 446 chainstays, then it goes to 456 and 466, and that keeps you nice and central on the bike, really stable at high speed. And it remains playful too. You don't need to worry about any tire buzz if you're a bit shorter as well. So the bike itself, 160 travel on the rear, 170 on the front. It uses a 6061 T6 aluminium frame. We've kept the 64-degree head angle on the front because we really like the way that handled on the 161, and we've gone for a slightly slacker seat tube angle. So the 161 has an 80-degree seat tube angle. We've gone for 79 on the E161. Doesn't sound like a lot, but once you see it is extended, it does bring you further over the rear wheel, and that gives you loads of traction in loose conditions, especially when you've got an 85 Nm motor. The motor on this is the Shimano EP801, so it's the latest model. It's got better sound editing, so it's a little bit quieter on the trail. It's got way more tuning options in the eTube app, and it has a few slight different changes in like the control. The button here is slightly different, so you can run the bike without this control. You can still go through the modes on the top tube. And we've also got a Shimano 630 watt-hour battery in there, and that's the Gen 2 battery. So it doesn't matter where you are in the world, you'll have a cover from Shimano. So easy to look after, easy to service, and that's what we want. We want people to take the bike out the box, rip the trails, not worry about it, put it home, take it home, put it away dirty, ride it the next day. Same as the 161 really. This is like, it's a proper enduro, like, we want you to ride it, we want you to smash it really, really hard. So one of the things with e-bikes is they tend to come with a plastic bash guard, and that doesn't make sense to us because, like, sure, we have a warranty, sure, everything's nice and durable, but if you whack that motor into a rock and you destroy it, warranty's not going to cover it. That's 600 pounds out of your own pocket. So we've put an aluminium bash guard on there. So it's a 4mm thick aluminium bash guard made in the UK, goes over the motor, and Dan Hicks, the designer of it, constantly tells us to sump it out. So we have to try and smash it into things. What's really cool is it's not just an aluminium bash guard. It also has I think it's like 10mm or 8mm neoprene rubber on the back of that. So there's a bit of flex. So not all the shock isn't going straight into the motor. If you do hit anything, there's a bit of damping there too. So yeah, that's a really, really nice feature. We also have an aluminium cover on the battery too. And like all the privateer bikes, we really care about easy to access hose and cable routing. So on the analog bikes, we have all the hoses and cables on the outside. On the E161, we've got this massive door on the bottom. Remove the battery, you can get all those hoses and cables. So we didn't need to put them on the outside. So still really easy to service and look after. And then, like I say, it's all ready to go out the box. It comes with a Hunt EL mountain wheels with a e-bike specific hub on the rear with a 8-degree engagement, steel free hub, 6x1 engagement as well, and downhill casing tires.
Myself and this privateer E-161 have had a very exciting day testing at the Bike Connection Agency Mountain Bike Connection Summer 2023 event here in Andalo in the Dolomites, lapping the Dolomite Paganella bike park. And it's safe to say I've got a pretty damn good feel for this thing, although I've not managed to play about with the settings extensively. It was kind of a set and forget sort of deal, and as soon as I hopped onto it, got it onto some proper challenging terrain, it really started to feel at home. We did start off with a big top to bottom lap of the bike park, and it's not the most crazy bike park lap in Europe, that's for sure. It's certainly on the slightly lower gradient, lower kind of technical difficulty side of things. And the privateer wasn't feeling like the most exciting bike. It was solid, like you're fairly well balanced in between the wheels, so it corners pretty well. But yeah, it's not like a super poppy, playful, light and agile kind of bike. So in the bike park, it definitely didn't quite come into its own. But then we managed to take it onto some much rougher, gnarlier terrain, and that's when it started to feel a lot more like it should, or much more exciting. It's got a really nice planted suspension feel. It's really nice and supple off the top, and just generally feels stable and controlled. I am riding the P2, so it's essentially the size medium, 470mm reach, and that was by choice. My proportions, although I'm 6'2", I do have a short body, and so the 470 to 480 kind of mil reach range for an e-bike tends to be what works best for me. And it certainly felt comfortable and balanced, and because it does have that size-specific rear end, if you went up to the P3 or even the P4, adding 10mm per size to that rear end length is undoubtedly going to help with the balance of the bike and keeping you nicely centered in between the wheels. And a really balanced bike really does make a difference. Just to be able to kind of turn off your brain a little bit from actively having to weight each wheel independently. You just kind of sit more in the middle of the bike, let the wheels do their thing, and just focus on the terrain ahead and picking your line the best. And yeah, although it might not be necessarily the sharpest bike out there, it certainly provides plenty of support, plenty of control, and it's proved to be a lot of fun. And I'm definitely interested to take it back to the UK or get one back in the UK, test it on the local trails and see how it compares, because over there traction is not necessarily given to you. You definitely have to generate your own traction and a supple suspension feel. And yeah, certainly just generally a chassis that helps you with traction is always appreciated, especially in the wetter winter months. So I think the privateer is going to do me well back there, but you'll have to wait and see to see how it performs in a long-term review. This is just a first ride review, and of course anything that I am saying should only be taken as just a first ride preview. Talking about the climate performance just before we wrap up, this thing is in the kind of same privateer way. For an e-bike anyway, you feel quite upright, and it's certainly not a stretched out cockpit position. Of course, not helped by the fact that I went for the P2 with the relatively short reach for a man of my height. But yeah, it feels upright. You feel very well centered between the wheels. There's plenty of weight on that front wheel for even the steep as it pitches. So when you do get that Shimano motor into the, or the cassette into the easiest gear with that Shimano motor, you can still comfortably ride the bike. It's not wheeling out everywhere. It's still very nicely controlled. And the pedaling platform seems to be a nice balance. You don't feel like you're wasting too much of that motor's energy with pedal bob or anything like that. It still retains a decent amount of traction too, though. So overall, I think Privateer have done a good job with their first e-bike. It certainly seems like it's going to be a fun one to take for a longer term test. So stay tuned for that. And in the meantime, give us a like if you enjoyed this video. Leave us a comment. Let us know what you think of the Privateer no-nonsense E-161, and subscribe to the channel to see more awesome content from awesome events like Bike Connection Agency and awesome bikes like the Privateer E-161. Thanks for tuning in. Catch you out on the trails.